All right, we good to go? Because we are undeafened and we are ready to go. Cool, let's do it then. Let's play some Balatro with brassbeat. We sure are.
We are live.
Welcome to the first run of the event, everybody.
Hello. I guess to explain a bit out of the run, we're going to be doing 3 decks without skipping any blinds. So we're going to beat the game with 3 different game modes. And to do this, we have to use a profile that has all of the jokers unlocked already, and that is obvious.
Y'all are not mobile. Wait minutes. Y'all are not mobile.
Oh, they can't hear us? Oh no.
Raggy. No audio?
That means we do our introductions again. We've practiced it this time. Surely it'll go better.
So I think we hear you more Conda, but not brassbeat is what
Oh.
I think. Now maybe I should be careful.
No brassbeat? Megamind.jpg?
Now, shout outs to the tech team that run this marathon. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that you all can't even see, but there's a lot of work that goes on.
Yeah, the current working theory is because brassbeat was tech team last time, we may still be deafened in the back somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, if I am audible, then I can vamp a bit out the run. So, yeah. Balatro is, I guess, if you've not seen it already, not sure what you've been doing, but to explain, it is a poker-based roguelike, which sounds kind of crazy, but basically the aim of the game is to make poker hands that score as high up as points as possible, and you need to score a certain amount of points in each run, in each hand to be able to beat the boss, and once you beat every boss, you beat the game. And it will probably make a lot more sense once we get into it. Yeah, I guess things to note about this run is that it's a roguelike. It's procedurally randomly generated, which means we don't actually know what we're going to be facing until we go into the run. Like, there's a certain amount of jokers that make your hands more powerful, and those are randomly generated, so there's some good jokers and some bad jokers.
Here's an important question for you, Murakonda. Isn't poker technically already a roguelike since it's random already?
Alright. Do I nerd out about the Berlin interpretation of a roguelike here? Because the definition of a roguelike has very much gotten different over the years. But, like, I guess poker's randomly generated, but it doesn't have any sort of fighting elements, and I'm not sure it has permadeath.
Alright.
You cannot play a poker with my friends, apparently.
But, like, am I back live?
Yeah, it sounds like you are.
Okay, so I guess no one on stream actually heard me the first time. I am brassbeat. This is Balatro. We're gonna make the number go up a few times. So hang on, let me put the name in the profile. And yeah, we've hit the unlock all button to start with a complete collection because the run wants us to do this. For this run, we're gonna be playing through. We're gonna be doing runs on 3 different decks. I'll start on yellow deck. So I'm gonna hit play. There's gonna be a little animation of a card burning on the center of the screen. When that animation ends is when time starts. So a little bit weird, but we'll make do. So anyway, I'm gonna hit the button and be ready to start. And we're off.
So yeah, we see the first thing here, and we are trying to make different poker hands. I see here brassbeat's trying to make a flush, and you can see how many points each poker hand makes by the thing on the left. So this hand made 74 chips and 4 multiplier. And different types of hands will have different amounts of points, and you need to get 300 points to beat the first boss blind, which we have done here. We also have jokers, so that joker over there gives us 50 more blue chips whenever we make a pair, so this hand is worth slightly more, and that is how you get more powerful in this game with jokers. You can also upgrade your cards, although you'll be seeing less of that in a speedrun. So currently, oh, that's a pretty good build. So currently we now have a joker that gives us 50 chips if we play a pair, and 15 multiplier if we have no discards left. And I'm not an expert, but I think that's a big enough number to be able to beat the current bosses. Yeah. I guess in each round, we see here we have some number of hands and some number of discards. If you run out of if you get 1 money for every hand you have left over, along with some amount of interest and some amount of money you get from just beating the boss blind. And we have opened an Arcana pack, which has lots of things in it. Lots of cards, which you're not really going to be seeing what they do, but we also have a joker here, the red card, that gives us more multiplier every time we open a booster pack and then don't take anything in it, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, the other things of note is that we've now bought a Ride the Bus Joker. What that does, gains +1 multiplier, the red thing, every time we play a hand that doesn't involve a face card, so a jack, a queen, or a king. So we are slowly getting more chips every hand. The bosses also scale, so you can see here on the left you have to score at least 1,600 chips to be able to beat that boss, and that will only go up until we reach the final boss, which generally has 100,000 chips. So the number does go up, and it goes up quite quickly.
So yeah, in our main build, I currently have Ride the Bus. That's gonna be a great choker that will get stronger as we go on. Ooh, a stuntman though.
Yes, Stuntman. So that is one of the best speedrunning jokers, because it gives you a load of chips. That means you have a smaller hand. So normally you have 8 hands, smaller hand size, sorry. Normally you have 8 cards in your hand. Now we only have 6 cards. But that doesn't really matter, because we only have to make a pair. Oh, we don't even have to make a pair. We don't really care about what hand we make, because all of the points we're getting right now is from the jokers themselves. So Stuntman is plus 250 chips, and this banana over here is now giving 25 multiplier. So we're now making whatever 250 times 40 is without having to care about what the hand even is. I guess since you have 4 hands and the final boss is generally 100,000 chips, you want to be making 25,000. Ooh, interesting. 25,000 chips per hand by the end of the run. Each run consists of 8 antes. You can see this in the bottom left. And there are 3 bosses every ante, so when you don't skip any blinds, you play a total of 24 blinds. Yeah, this banana is a little bit of a funny joker, because it's got a 1 in 6 chance to just suddenly disappear every time you beat a blind.
So yeah, it's a very funny mechanic. Ooh, we got a... well, I guess I've seen enough of the banana now.
Yeah. So this run, I guess, has a lot of... It has chips in the Stuntman, it has multiplier in the Ride the Bus and the Swashbuckler, the jokers 2 to the right of the Stuntman. And now it has things that multiply our score, so the Polychrome, or the gay scholar, the one that is a rainbow, and the hologram both multiply the score of our hand. And this is a pretty good build because of that. You can see, I mean, you can even see the animations, what each joker is doing to the score. It's very nice, but we are now making 40,000 chips every hand. Pretty good run.
So yeah, the star of the show now is the hologram over here. The hologram is gonna gain a multiplier for every card that we add to the deck. So if I see standard packs in the shop, they'll give me 1 card each.
Yep. Increase.
And also the spectral pack that we saw a minute or so ago. There's a bunch of spectral cards that are gonna add like a handful of cards at once to the deck, which means this guy already got up quite big, so...
Yeah, the order of the jokers does matter, so you want to put your things that multiply your multiplier after the jokers that add multiplier, because otherwise you get a smaller number, and you kind of want to see the number go up in this game. I guess to explain what you're seeing in the shop at the end of every run. So in the shop, you have, well, I'm going to describe it what's in there. You have 2 jokers or 2 things in the middle, and then you have 2 booster packs in the bottom right. These have various different things they can do, and you have a voucher in the bottom left. And the voucher resets every time you go up an ante, which is every 3 bosses. And these booster packs, a throwback is one of the best speedrunning jokers, but does not apply to this category because it gains every time you skip a blind, which you're not allowed to do in this category. Yeah, I guess to explain the different packs, you have a buffoon pack, which has jokers in it, the things we have at the very top. We have standard packs, which add cards to your deck. So these cards do different things. We're not really seeing any of these because in a speedrun, most of the time your chips come from your jokers at the top, but you see this card has a red seal on it, which means it activates twice. You also have spectral packs, which and arcana packs, which have cards which do special effects. And we're not seeing very much of them because, again, they take a lot of animation time.
No, that doesn't make sense, I think. So I was thinking for a moment to take the certificate. What it does is it adds a card with a seal to your hand at the start of every blind, so that has good synergy with the hologram. But it's getting a bit late for that to consider adding it.
Yeah, we see now that we are on the final ante of this blind, or this run rather. So we're coming up to the boss blind. This boss blind, the final boss has a special ability. This one's possibly the weakest of all the final bosses. It shuffles your joker cards, which means that sometimes you get unlucky and your time smalt jokers go all the way back to the beginning. But in this case, that did not happen, and we beat the boss in 2 hands. So that is run 1 out of 4.
So yeah, we've moved on to the second deck. The first deck that you saw was the yellow deck. It does a very basic effect of just starting us with $10 more in the bank. So on the first one, you started with $14 instead of 4. Now on the ghost deck, it does a few things. The first thing you start with this hex card. So now the fist that I collected, which is kind of uwu, but it's also now a polychrome, so it gives times 1.5 on top of its usual effect, which is to give us a bunch of plus mold for the lowest ranked card in our hands.
So
I
it
don't
is
have
now
chip,
getting,
so
yeah,
I do want
plus 20 multiplier if you have a 10 in your hand or a king in your hand. Yeah, if you don't understand this game can be a bit overwhelming if you've never seen it before, but the things to
it's
focus on
interesting.
are
I'll put
the
through.
animation of the jokers at the top and the number on the very left, because you want when a run is going well, you see the number on the left go up. And if it reaches as high as the number that says score at least 800 chips, then you have beaten that blind. Whoa, the Space Joker actually did something? Wow. Space Joker is a 1 in 4 chance to level up your hand every time you play it, but a common meme in this game is that 1 in 4 never happens. So it happens Space Joker never activates, the Wheel of Fortune never actually activates, and what else is 1 in 4? I think those are the only 2 things.
The banana used to be 1 in 4. But
yes.
that one always hits on the worst time, right?
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, this game is it's pretty addicting if you get into it, because there's just loads of combinations of builds to make, and it's different every single time you play it.
Oh, Space Joker keeps going hard.
Wow, this is unusually good. Oh, 8-ball. 8-ball's 1 in 4. I forget 8-ball exists.
Yeah.
Let's go try them.
The 8-ball absolutely never happens. That's what. That was really hard to get going.
So the current build gets a lot of plus mult. So the Supernova gains +1 multiplier, the red thing, every time.
I think we're doing
play the hand.
The few chips on the levels are like good enough for now. Okay, we get 50 for a pair. That's fine.
Yeah. The raised fist is plus mult and also times 1.5 multiplier to your hand. And the duo over here is times 2 multiplier every time you play a pair. And since our build now is just pairs, this is a pretty good build. Yeah. We also see Brass keeping $27 in the bank. This is because at the end of every blind that we beat, you get interest. So for every $5 you keep in the bank, you get +1 interest at the end of the blind, up to a maximum of 25. So generally you want to keep somewhere close to $25 at the end of every round, if you can help it. And the Space Joker, how many... You've played 7 pairs, and the Space Joker has procced 4 times. I'm not an expert, but I think 4 out of 7 is more than 1/4, but yeah, that's what usually happens. So that Wheel of Fortune has a 1 in 4 chance to do anything, otherwise it gives a big fat nope on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, so the boss that is coming up would have been a bit scary because we are relying on levels on specifically playing pair. So I want to play pair, but the boss specifically says we can only play pair once in a round.
Well, this doesn't really matter very much when you beat
with the way this is
sometimes.
going now, we just one-shot the boss anyways. Let's discard to get more fist value.
Yep, so every 3rd blind has a special ability, and some of them are really screw over your run sometimes, and some of them do absolutely nothing. It's very dependent on your build. So for example, sometimes your boss, your build makes you really want to play a flush. So maybe you changed all your cards in your deck to have a load of hearts. And suddenly the boss says all your heart cards are debuffed, and you become very sad. So you always have to pay attention. Ooh, nice Mercury. So yeah, you can see now our pair level 5 means that whenever you play a pair, you start with 85 chips. and that is what leveling up a hand does. And so you can have funny situations which happen very often where a pair is worth more points than a three of a kind, so you want to actively avoid playing three of one card, just to get slightly more points. This build is already looking pretty good. I think it's now got a source of chips in the build, plus 2 chips for every dollar you have in the bank, a source of plus multiplier in the supernova, and a source of times multiplier in the gay fist and the hair joker, the duo. There we go.
So does that mean it's time for some donations?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool, because we did get a couple come in. $25 from Zelo. It's Pride Month, and I'm full of pride in this event, even if I'm not participating directly this year. Best of luck, everyone working hard this weekend. And that went to the Buck Up and Drive, the Van Diesel cameo. Infrabread, $10. Balatro or Balatro? Good question. I'll let the runner and the commentator answer that one in a minute. That one went to the Violet poll. And Tacklegriff, closest thing to a Chozo watching the stream that I'm aware of. I'd like to offer my support in honor of this opportunity to watch this reenactment of Samus Aran's first mission. And that also went to the Van Diesel cameo. Don't forget, gang, when you're donating, you can do both a target incentive and a poll. Please make sure you are doing both.
The baseball cards. This can go hard. It gives every uncommon joker times 1.5 multiplier. Currently that's just the ball. But that definitely beats the
the wall. An extra large blind. This blind can screw you over sometimes because it's just twice as big as another blind. So if you're not beating every blind by quite a lot, then you might be a bit screwed. But luckily this build is pretty good. Making 60 chips every hand. So this beats every final boss. There's 5 final bosses, and one of them is the Violet Vessel, which is 3 times as large. No, we got the same one again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess of the final bosses, there's the Violet Vessel is generally the hardest, which is 3 times as big, so you have to make 300,000 chips instead of 100,000. And then there's a Crimson Heart, which disables one Joker randomly every single hand you make. And that is sometimes does nothing, but sometimes completely screws up your run. So if your run is dependent on one Joker in particular, for example, this Supernova is gaining 25 multiplier every time you play a pair. If your Crimson Heart decides to disable that Joker, then you're in trouble. Also just
the Ember Acorn Arson has a funny trick you can do. Which is you can grab one Joker before it shuffles and then it just doesn't get shuffled. That we move on to the erratic deck and let's see what we have here. We have a bunch of jacks, a bunch of sevens, a bunch of diamonds.
So the gimmick with the erratic deck is that each card is randomly generated. So you normally start with one of every card in a pack of 52 cards, but in an erratic deck, that's randomized. So we started with, I think, 7 sevens and 9 jacks. So we're probably going to be trying to make full houses with sevens and jacks. And we also just got the Joker Delayed Gratification, which gives you $2 for every discard if you don't use any of them, which is why we are playing hands instead of discarding. But we may have to... that is close. I don't know. That is 44 times 2 is 88, yes. So we scored exactly 5 more points than you had to. If we didn't, then you would have been able to see the you lose screen.
Gain a discard, sure. Wait, spades are debuffed. That was
So yeah, we have a Joker that gives us a benefit every time we play.
Let's try this.
And we also have a boss blind that makes our spades do nothing.
Let's play the full house.
Luckily, it's the first blind, so it's not too hard.
Okay. Thankfully, the erratic deck, one of the effects of making the deck unbalanced is it's much easier to just randomly find a full house. Like if there's 4 of certain kinds if there's like 4 of a certain rank in a suit and you have like a pair of them in your hand, then it's like actually really hard to draw the third of that kind, basically. I am doing something kind of sloppy. I actually have clubs in the deck. I should be able to pull a flushing clubs.
Yeah, but this straight will
I'm down to play a 2-pair.
Or a 2-pair, yes. So we've got a Joker that gives +3 multiplier every time you play a club, and that's our only source of plus multiplier right now. So if that Joker doesn't activate, we'll be multiplying our chips number by only 2.
I should now... Maybe the 3 of a kind is big enough? There you go. I forgot what the boss is. It's diamonds. Okay. I guess since we're on this theme, let's take the agate for now. I think I'm done with arrowheads because it doesn't work for our builds.
Yeah, so there are 15 decks in total. You can there is such thing as a 15 deck run. It's a very long run that requires a lot of stamina, but we're showing off 3 of them here. It shows off a lot of different stuff. Plasma deck is the deck you play if you want to get a very broken run, and we're not going to be showing off today because it's extremely inconsistent. It doubles the chips you need to make for every blind. It's pretty fun. Yeah, that
Sure, let's take Constellation. It's not gonna break any records, but it is gonna win us the run.
Yeah, so it's worth noting that the estimate for this run is 45 minutes. That might seem like a huge estimate, but that's because this is a roguelike. If you die, you go right back to the beginning of the run. So if we get unlucky and die on the final boss, we effectively have to play an extra deck, and that is why the estimate is very, very loose. And indeed, I guess the difference between the top runs and the really unlucky runs are pretty huge. So I think the world record for 3-deck is somewhere around 3-deck skipless. I would want to say around 15 to 20 minutes. But your average run isn't going to be nearly as good. So right now we're having to play multiple hands to beat every boss because we haven't quite found the broken stuff yet. But with enough luck, we will. Fibonacci. Do you have any 2, 3s, 5s, 8s, or aces in your deck? I'm not sure.
I didn't check, so let's not bother with that. I'll take a few more planets, sure.
So the planet cards, every time you use a planet card, it levels up our constellation on the right by 0.1 times mult, which isn't very much, but you can play a lot of planet cards in a run, and it goes up pretty quickly.
Fine, let's just use it.
Yeah, and we also got a Moon Tarot card, which makes 3 cards of choice into clubs, and our Joker set gives us now 10 multiplier every time we play a club.
I am down to take this. Probably not losing too much with just the 3 mult from the Gluttonous Joker, that is? I'm not sure. I don't know the names.
Yeah, so I think Gluttonous is the Hearts Joker. I think Lusty is Heart. Gluttonous is... It might be Gluttonous Joker. So all of the Jokers have individual names, which unfortunately you're not going to see because you have to hover over the card.
I am down to take this. Let's get a few random planets to feed the constellation.
Yeah. So that Luchador that we just bought on the right is insurance. So if we get a boss blind that's particularly nasty,
how big is it? It's better than Agate, actually.
And the Luchador completely ignores the boss blind. So this eye could potentially be a problem if we don't get enough other hands other than a high card. Or maybe it isn't, because we're already making 6,000 every run. Ah, you were correct with Gluttonous Joker.
Thanks.
this now we've gotten the jokers that scale. So scaling jokers are ones that improve for every hand or every something you do. This number will only go up as we increase. So it's now at 8,000. The next hand might be 9,000, and so on.
I could take the fist again. That's probably better than holding on to Luchador.
Potentially, yeah. So what? How much are we doing now? What? 18,000. Quite a lot.
This is the one annoying part. I do want to keep playing high card to grind up the supernova. It specifically cares about what hand I play, so if I play a pair instead, then I don't get the mold from it.
Yep. So supernova.
So let's do half-seas instead.
Yes. To explain exactly what it does, for every high card that you've played in the run, the supernova upgrades all of those high cards by that number. So we play 15 high cards, so supernova gains 15 multiplier. Ooh, reroll voucher, best voucher in the game. But yeah, since we haven't played any pairs, if we play our first pair, the supernova will only give +1 multiplier, which is significantly less than 20. Yes, that reroll boss voucher.
Hologram is back for another round.
Hologram, yes, that is timed vault.
How much do I care about this? Probably half-seas is gonna get outskilled.
Yeah, the hologram is now going to grow. The scaling jokers start by doing absolutely nothing, but they gain permanent bonuses, which is why they're generally, as you were playing all blind, so no skipping blinds, we see quite a lot of shops and have the opportunity to scale our jokers quite a lot more than maybe in a typical speedrun. Yeah, no, this game is very cool and there's lots of things you can do.
There's magic trick. The magic trick is really great for the hologram. It's that voucher makes it so that we actually get playing cards in the shop that we can buy for $1.
So it is I believe it's something like a 1 in 7 chance to see it. So it might not appear, but yeah.
That's also perhaps a bit of a factor now, as we're not like incredibly rich. We are just making in a speedrun. We often have to make by with just the with the like $12 that you make per round. Okay, thankfully we did not get trolled on the boss again.
Yes, Cerulean Bell force one hand to be selected. This matters more. Oh, there we see a card showing up. That matters significantly more if you need to make a hand that's longer than one card. Because this is a high card build. This is actually a time save bell, where it saves the time you need to select the card. You can just press play hand. Quite funny. They're supposed to be bosses. They're supposed to make the game harder. They're not supposed to make the game easier for you. But yeah, time is going to come up after we beat the next boss, so the one after this one. And yeah, it's been a pretty smooth run. But yeah, just spam mouse click on the play button, and time is going to be once this hand ends. It is now. GG.
Yeah, that was a pretty smooth one. Things can get pretty wild. Thankfully, skipless is like a fairly consistent category, so we didn't have too much problems there. So yeah, that's been the run. Thank you to the Power with Pride team for having us on, and thank you, Mora, for being my commentary.
My pleasure.
One more. There's actually one thing, which is, it just so happens that the speedrunning community is hosting a tournament for which the qualification phase is happening right now. The Mystic Summit Pride tournament. Currently, if you do a 7 deck run and you get on the board, you automatically qualify. So maybe if people are interested in trying out this speedrun of this, then now is as good as a chance as ever. Anyways, the instructions for that will be on the community Discord and such. So yeah, that's gonna be it. And yeah, goodbye to everyone. Thank you again for having us on, and good luck on the rest of the marathon.
If the rest of the marathon goes like this run, then we're gonna have a really good marathon.
Yeah, it's going to be a real short marathon if it goes like this run did. Brassbeat, thank you so much for that wonderful Balatro run. That was a lot of fun. Glad we got to all see that. We have Neon White on deck with pods, but as far as everyone else goes, you've got a couple minutes while we set that up. Get up, stretch, grab a drink, do what you need to do, take care of yourselves. We'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, welcome back, everyone. You're watching Power Up with Pride 2025 here on Twitch. We are running all weekend. Today, starting off June the 13th through June the 15th, Sunday, for about 16 hours a day. And we are benefiting True Colors United. To find out more about them, you can find the link to their site in the panels below the stream, or use !charity in chat. If you're interested in donating, you can type !donate in chat. can find the schedule by typing exclamation schedule. You can see the incentives with exclamation incentives. You might be able to use exclamation Mina. I don't know if they ever enabled or disabled that. That was a fun one last marathon. Anyways, Neon White is up next with pods, but while we're waiting for them to finish their setup, let's talk a little bit more about True Colors United, because they're a great, great organization. So, this year, True Colors United is assisting their regional shelter partners around deportation raids and the rights of young people who are seeking services, pushing back on the federal government's DEI bans, and advocating for HUD funding that directly supports young people experiencing homelessness. And they're pushing for new protection legislation in support of young people experiencing homelessness, despite many challenges in Congress. Your support is more important than ever, and deeply appreciated. Again, exclamation point donate to get more information on all of that. Now, don't forget, we do have a lot of great incentives open right now that we can be donating towards. In fact, I'm going to open up that list right now. What do we have available for polls? Right now we have the Neon White poll for which Heaven Rush to showcase after the run. So if you have any strong feelings about that, you better start getting those in, because we're going to be closing that one up pretty shortly. We did have the Metal Sonic Showcase for Sonic Adventure DX. That has already been finished off. Thank you to everyone that voted for that one. We have the Buck Up and Drive, the Van Diesel cameo. That one is about halfway, $95.25 out of 200. So if we want to see that Van Diesel cameo, we need to get on that, gang. Exclamation donate. Get them in. And again, the schedule today. There's a lot of great stuff today. So, exclamation schedule, chat. Take a look at what we have happening today. Tell me, what are you looking forward to? I mentioned some of the things I was looking forward to earlier. Like we have Zero Mission coming up next. The Wu-Tang Shaolin style. I'm looking forward to that. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind. If you have not seen the schedule, that is a 5-player co-op unrestricted run. There's a lot of great people on that one. That's going to be OG Happy Dude, DBK, Gameo, Butch, and Protosonic. That's going to be an absolutely chaotic mess of a showcase that's happening around 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. That's one you're not going to want to miss. The Star of Providence later, one of my favorite indie games of recent. A little arena shmup roguelike. It's really cool if you've never seen that game before. You're not going to want to miss that one. Typing of the Dead 2 is going to be our final run tonight in the little horror block. Typing of the Dead is such a game. Oh my goodness. If you have never seen Typing of the Dead, it's just House of the Dead with a keyboard. If you've never seen House of the Dead, either you're under the age of 25 or you've been living under a rock, because that game was everywhere in arcades when we were growing up, us older folk. Absolutely cheesy time of a game. Can't wait to see the even cheesier spin-off when it comes up tonight. There's a lot of great stuff happening through the rest of the weekend as well. Unfortunately, I can't watch anything tomorrow because I will be stuck at work, but I would like everyone else to make sure you don't miss the UFO 50 block, because that's going to be a lot of fun. There's Yars Rising tomorrow. That one's going to be fun. Zelda 2, Adventure of Link. That's happening tomorrow. The 5-level co-op repo showcase. That one's going to be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss that one either. Alice, please don't say you miss arcades. I work at an arcade. Alright, looks like we're still getting a little more setup done on our next showcase. So, let's take another quick look at what True Colors United is doing. Now, if you haven't heard it yet today, bad news. In the United States, 4.2 million youth experience homelessness each year, with lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning LGBTQ plus youth 120% more likely to experience homelessness than their non-LGBTQ plus peers. True Colors United is committed to changing that. If we can ensure that services are safe for and affirming of the most impacted young people, we can be confident that they'll be safe and affirming for everyone. We believe that youth homelessness is a community issue. Real change can happen when people come together with a shared vision. And that is so true. If you go exclamation charity, exclamation donate, you can learn more about them. You can donate to the cause. And it sounds like we may be ready to get that next neon white run kicked off here in a moment. So let's get them moved on up here and we'll get that show on the road for you in just a moment.